thinking. You can think automatically about stuff throughout the day, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's you. Just like the quote-unquote you that replicates cells and repairs muscle. You can only do the hard work on the outside of breaking the muscle down and going through the movements, but it's not necessarily you putting it back together consciously. You could be aware of it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're doing it. And that's kind of the same thing with imagination and the way thoughts travel through your head. You kind of have to be conscious of it and not let that become you. Because what you need to do is almost already being done. Your heart beats for you, your brain regulates everything for you, your stomach digests food for you, and your digestive tract spits it out for you. Even chewing, like that's kind of close to breathing. You can notice that you're chewing, and you can control the way you chew, but you really don't need to work on how to chew things. You put it in your mouth, and you just instinctively know to crush it up into small bits, so that your body, not necessarily you, but your body can digest that and process it. And that's the biggest thing that separates us from animals, because we're not completely autonomous. A lot of people, science-based people, will like to believe that everything we do is based off of science. But that's where the whole spiritual thing comes into play, because you're more than just your instincts. And some people can be overcame by their instincts, which they're really not, but they just don't realize it. It's not necessarily that they're bad in themselves, but in excess. And if you let it control you, you become unconscious. And that's where you're throwing away your human right to be conscious and be aware and have self-control, unlike an animal. And a lot of imagination is fear-based. It's a tool to keep us safe. But in the modern world, it's mostly overplayed. It wants to survive. All it wants to do is the physicals. It wants you to survive in the physical world. And that's the whole analogy with a rebirth. You have to let the physical stuff die. You have to let the lust and the sloth and the gluttony kind of die. I mean, fitness is a great example. Whether you want to lose weight or gain muscle, yes, it's a physical. It's something in the physical world that you desire to make your body look a certain way, but you have to ignore certain primal instincts to eat, consume, and you have to go through effort, which is not conducive to storing energy. You have to push your body and destroy it so it can rebuild itself. That is also like a rebirth in itself. So I think the best way we're dealing with the imagination and bad thoughts is just to watch it and accept it. Alright guys, this is my new apartment. Oh, not bad. What else? Very small, tight-knit. Very tight-knit. Let's just take a second and appreciate the changing of seasons. Prepare for the absolute slush and salt-covered cars for the next 6 months. We also appreciate all the haircuts I've been getting and the trim. So look, whenever you have a problem, best thing you do is imagine every single way it could go wrong. Use your imagination. Use that thing in there, that big old piece of gum that's just full of electrical signals, and that's all it is. That's all your brain really is. It's just a piece of flesh with electricity going all around it. Everything that goes on in there is you, and every feeling that you have is true, because there's no such thing as a wrong emotion. So whenever anything goes wrong, react to every single feeling that you have, and that right there is enlightenment. Is when you listen to all the doubts and all the bad stuff in your head, and you have an emotional attachment to the words that you are saying to yourself, if you are saying words to yourself at all. Best thing to do is to sit there, think about every single way, every single scenario, good and bad, and attach yourself to it. And then feel the feelings. That's how you solve all your problems. Say you're grocery shopping. Think about that problem as much as possible. See, I have to extend my arm. About that problem so much that you don't even realize you've been in the grocery store for about 6 hours and you have nothing in your cart and you're going through the same aisles over and over again. That's how much you should be thinking about your problems. The most autonomous thing that we can almost have control over is our breathing. Like, you'll see memes like, this post made me manually breathe. And that's something that you can like go back and forth between. I mean, most people breathe wrong, but besides that, it's like that's something that you can turn on and off. If you're doing something, you'll breathe automatically, but you can also control your breath. You can't really control your heartbeat. It responds to the exterior, but you don't have any control over it. It does it itself.